Thank you, Producer Brandon. Scott Johnson on behalf of Hopkins Farm Broadcasting here in Shelbyville, Tennessee. Bedford County, about 50 miles south of Nashville, 25 miles south of the borough, and the lovely, a little bit overcast, rolling green hills of southern middle Tennessee. It's that time of the month where we have in Kelly North, the Vice President of the Shelbyville-Bedford Partnership / Chamber of Commerce / you name it, come in and talk about what's going on in economic development, workforce development, the Chamber, tourism, and all things commerce-wise. Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning, Scott. Thanks so much for having me this morning.
Well, we appreciate you coming in today.
Yes, of course.
And talking about a lot of things going on. I think it's obviously out there that you're going to be leaving us.
Yes, that is correct.
Here sometime in the near future, but we appreciate you coming in and doing your show and keeping up. And I thought maybe what we could do today, Kelly, is kind of look back. I know you've been involved with the Chamber of Commerce and Economic Development. Well, I was on that board earlier. I about 10 years, almost 10 years maybe.
Yep. Coming right up on that 10-year timeline in Bedford County.
The one common theme in economic development here is Kelly North. A bunch of the rest of us have changed over, but you have not. So how did you get started? Let's just kind of talk about that first. How did you get started here in Bedford County? I know you're from Tullahoma, but you've spent the last decade in Shelbyville.
So, economic development, workforce development, community development, it's not necessarily a career pathway that you pick in school.
It's not one that, it's not. Do you want to be?
It should be.
Well,
it should be.
It should be.
But it's not.
How did you get there?
So I guess it was a little over 10 years ago. I had decided to go back to school. All my kids were in school at the time, and so I wanted to go back and get my bachelor's degree and my master's degree. And I was working on my bachelor's degree at MTSU, and which is in entrepreneurship. And right before the start of my last semester, I was told that I needed to do an internship.
Oh.
Now, mind you, I had already worked, 15 years in the corporate sector.
You weren't new to that.
I was not new to that, and really.
But they still told you had to do one.
Struggled for a minute to wrap my brain around having to do an internship. I'm very intentional, and so I wanted to make sure that internship aligned with my education, and so had some connections in Bedford County. Of course, I'm from Tullahoma. I had some connections in Bedford County, and Jack Pirtle, who was with the Pirtle dealership here in Shelbyville.
Right, car dealership.
Yes. Was real connected with the Bedford County Cancer Society and then the Chamber of Commerce.
Yep, I remember that.
And he recommended both of those to me as an opportunity for an internship, and then wound up having a conversation with Alan Pittner,
who was the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce at the time.
Chamber of Commerce, and going back to that point about being intentional, being able to work with small businesses while I was getting a degree in entrepreneurship was very attractive to me. So I met with Alan. We had a really good hour-long conversation, and he said, sure, you can come be an intern for us. So I spent 3 months as an intern, and the capstone project that Alan gave me was to write a program for a business education partnership program for Bedford County.
Business education.
Mm-hmm. So Partners in Education was the name of the program.
So we're talking workforce development?
We're talking workforce development.
Okay. Yep. That's where you started, workforce development.
And that's where my introduction into economic and community development came from. So wrote the program, really had a focus on businesses participating within Bedford County schools to open the doors to career readiness, show students, their opportunities post-high school, and what career pathways were available to them. So I wrote the program, went on about my merry way. left my internship, finished my internship, went on about my merry way. 2 months later, I had gotten a call from Alan, and he shared with me that they took my program and submitted it for a 3-star grant. So the Tennessee 3-star program awards grant funds for various projects throughout the state of Tennessee. The Chamber was awarded a 3-star grant to implement my program, and Alan
that you wrote as an intern.
Yes, that I wrote as an intern.
Okay.
And Alan wanted
quite the accomplishment.
Thank you. Alan wanted to give me the opportunity to implement the program, and so I was hired as an employee of the Chamber. And from that point on, I dove deep into workforce development and didn't look back.
And that was about 9 years ago then.
Yes.
Roughly after you becoming there.
So we implemented the Partners in Education program and then recognized a need to introduce students to those career pathways, and we started the 8th grade career exploration fair, which is still in existence today.
I was going to say that's still going on.
Yes, as a matter of fact, that is happening, shameless plug here, October 9th.
Okay.
At the Ag Center. Bedford County Schools has aligned, I think they're at 30 businesses right now that are participating. The goal is to get to 50. So if any of our listeners own a business and you want to, showcase your opportunities to middle school students, we'll tell you how to get connected.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that something Lori Sexton's doing?
That's something that Lori Sexton and Sam Levins are spearheading
at the school
now.
system.
Yes.
All right. Their email address is online, folks.
Yes, that's right.
If you want to get your business in there and be at the Ag Center on what day?
October the 9th.
October the 9th. And you started that when?
2016. Oh,
and it's still going on.
It was at that time, it was my future is bright career fair. We made sure all the students had sunglasses.
Think about how important it is, because at that age, did any of us really know what we wanted to do the rest of our life? So at least they get some exposure and information about things they might be interested in, and kind of help them. Hey, do I want to go into college? Do I want to get technical training? Do I want to go straight to the workforce or whatever? Well,
the goal was really to make an introduction early to what the opportunities were.
Not when they're a senior in the last 2 months.
Exactly.
Hey, we got to do something here.
We want them. I know, to your point, when I was in high school, my options were limited in terms of career awareness.
Right.
And so I have an associate's degree in computer-aided drafting and design that I've never used.
Right.
Because it just, once I got into that field right after high school, I didn't enjoy it. It was not what I expected it to be, and really changed the trajectory of my career. Had I been introduced to other opportunities earlier on, then I might have had a different pathway.
And that's for, you say, 8th grade?
Yes, that's for 8th grade.
And it's in, this is 9th year?
Yes, 9th year.
Like that.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Yes.
What else you want to talk about? Of course, you were at the Chamber of Commerce doing that for several years.
Mm-hmm. Well, and we built several programs related to workforce development during my 5 years with the Chamber, and we formed a workforce advisory council where we brought together industry and educators so they could communicate and collaborate on what skills industry needed for their employees and what pathways were relevant to Bedford County. So, Bedford County schools teachers had a line on what they needed to be teaching their students.
And of course, it's not just the two of us sitting here talking about workforce development, but I remember, I don't know if it was a year or two ago, that the Tennessee Valley Authority, they're huge into economic development. I'm not sure everybody knows that, but they're the power infrastructure in this part of the world. And some of their representatives that said, if you want to see how to do it, go to Bedford County and talk to Kelly North. That absolutely happened.
That's correct.
Good for them.
We were recognized.
If you want to see how to do workforce development, go there.
We were recognized as a best practice model for workforce collaboration, for creating an ecosystem for workforce collaboration. And essentially what that means is we made sure that we brought all the right people to the table. All the folks that needed to have some skin in the game, we had them at the table having conversations about what skills were needed, what pathways were available, and what opportunities were trending within, not just within this community, but within the region as well.
So let's see here. You did the workforce development thing. Of course, you've never stopped doing that.
Yes.
Ever since
That's been pretty consistent throughout the last 10 years.
And then you left the Chamber of Commerce. I think back when the Chamber of Commerce it didn't dissolve, but it kind of became a very small organization for a period of time, right?
Yes, that's correct.
And then the county and city got together and put together this concept of the Shelbyville-Bedford partnership, which was put together for economic development, tourism, and for workforce development, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And you got hired again.
Mayor Graham likes to call the partnership that next generation economic engine.
Right.
Because the reality is that to have all of those facets of community development under one umbrella is highly beneficial to any community.
Well, any outfit, whether it's a business or the government like the state, they don't want to go to 2-3 locations in one county.
Sure.
They want one-stop shopping.
Yes.
And that's what the partnership was formed, right?
Absolutely.
mean, I'm obviously on the board now. I was not part of it when it was formed. But I do remember I was sitting at Alan Pittner's house because Alan, rest his soul, was a good friend of mine.
Yes.
And he was smiling from ear to ear. I said, "What's going on, Alan?" "They hired Kelly North at the partnership. They must know what they're doing." That's what he told me because your workforce development background.
I have so much gratitude for Alan and his willingness to give me an opportunity all those years ago, because it really opened the doors. I consider myself a product of workforce development, because for me it really opened the doors to a career pathway that I had no idea even existed.
Well, I would say it's a very narrow career field.
It is, but so needed. So needed.
Well, when you think about it, and for those of our listening audience that don't really know what workforce development is, I mean, when you bring industry in, or we have existing industry here, and we have a lot of good existing industry here, they need a workforce.
Yes.
They need a workforce trained in what they need them to do. And that could be through high school career technical education. It could be through the Tennessee College of Applied Technology. I mean, it could be through college.
Yes.
But, I mean, there needs to be a focus on what do they need so they'll hire these people.
The key theme with workforce development is alignment. Right, so it's creating alignment.
We're not talking about your tires.
We're not talking about your tires.
All right.
We're talking about alignment between industry and education.
Yeah. There's somebody has to do that.
Yes.
And industry basically expects there to be an organization to do that. In that case here, that's obviously the partnership, and that obviously was Kelly North. So
you mentioned the genesis of the partnership, and so when I joined the partnership, I joined as the director of existing business development, and so really expanded my role from workforce development to also include business retention and expansion. Critical.
Well, I call it taking care of the ones that are already at the dance with you, right?
Yes.
I mean, you can recruit new business, but the ones that are already here, you want to take care of them, right?
Well, and that's always the big flashy thing, is being able to recruit, and it's important. Don't get me wrong.
No,
it's super important. But I mean, we have hundreds of businesses in any given community that need support. They need resources, and they need a dedicated person to say, "Hey, Kelly, can you help me figure out this problem? Can we work through this challenge?"
Because there may be programs from the state or other places that could help them expand their business or workforce or whatever it might be, because a lot of grants out there too.
That's correct. And so part of my responsibility in that role was to make sure the business community was informed. And so I regularly engaged with our large manufacturers, our distribution centers, our largest employers, to ensure they were informed of the resources that were available, and that our local education institutions, and when I say local education institutions, I'm talking about all those schools that you just mentioned: Bedford County schools, Tennessee College of Applied Technology, Motlow, MTSU.
And they all work very well together. Every one of them does.
Yes, and to make sure that the school systems, plural, were informed of what the needs were. And we did things such as make program advisory recommendations to Tennessee College of Applied Technology, and that's where you have your head of operations for your manufacturing company that gets to sit on the industrial maintenance program advisory committee and influence the curriculum that's coming out of the Tennessee College of Applied Technology. Seems like such a little thing, but it's so important to the companies in this community, and any community for that matter, to have access to that kind of resource.
Folks, we're talking to Kelly North, the Vice President of the Shelbyville-Bedford Partnership, the economic engine, Chamber of Commerce / everything, all being things here in Bedford County. We're going to take I almost said 60-second break, producer. We're going to take a 120-second break, and we'll be right back.
United Communications builds connections you can rely on. Whether it's fast internet for your home or business, our fiber network is designed for your community. No long hold times, no out-of-town providers, just real service from real people. Call 931-740-1800 or visit united.net. Thousands of Tennesseans already trust United. United Communications. Fast, local internet.
When's the last time you've seen the eye doctor? Don't Don't wait. Whether it's little Carter's first pair of glasses or keeping a good eye on your vision health as you age, your eyes are a precious thing. See personalized care for the whole family and friendly faces at Dr. Hasty Family Eye Care on 605 North Main in Shelbyville, across from the U.S. Post Office. Striving to bring you excellence in optometry every single day. Don't put your family's vision off. Make an appointment today at 931-684-2020. Personalized eye care for the whole family at Dr. Hasty Family Eye Care.
Kincaid's is proud to offer Beauty Rest Black to our customers. Beauty Rest Black represents a leap forward in bedding with sleep climate technology keeping you cool, and triple-stranded pocketed coils to give you luxurious support all night long. Wake up refreshed and ready to take on the day with a new Beauty Rest Black mattress from Kincaid Service Company. 400 Madison Street, Shelbyville, across from the Speedway gas station. 931-684-5662.
Folks, this is Scott Johnson on behalf of Hopkins Farm Broadcasting here in Shelbyville, Tennessee, Bedford County, 98.7 on your FM dial. Tune in here anytime you want to hear straight from the horse's mouth about what's going on around here in Shelbyville and Bedford County. Today we have Kelly North, the Vice President of the Shelbyville-Bedford Partnership / Chamber of Commerce. Got to throw that in there because they're part of the they came back under the partnership. Last January, I believe.
July 2023.
Oh, 2023. My bad. Oh, my gosh. I should know better. But anyhow, and folks may be wondering, why are we talking about Kelly North and what's going on here? We're kind of focused on that. Well, Kelly's going to be leaving us sometime here in the near future. And she's taking the job as the economic, what would you call that job, Kelly?
I have accepted the role as Executive Director of the Tullahoma Area Economic Development Corporation.
Right. And I mean, and I know the board was telling you yesterday they're proud of you because they know that that's your hometown.
Yes.
And you've been in Bedford County for 10 years, so you have a second hometown.
Yes.
But you're going back to your hometown, and everybody understands that. And I know that they had a ton of candidates over there, and they picked you. So congratulations on that. And I know the board of directors of the partnership were all thanking you yesterday for your race. So this is a harmonious split, but everybody's happy for you.
It is, and this is I would be remiss if I didn't say that this has been such an incredibly meaningful chapter in my career, and I feel privileged to have served the Bedford County community for the
and you've
last
done
decade.
It very well, and it's obvious from the feedback that's been going on.
And I'm excited to be able to go home and take my experience and take the lessons learned that I've gained over the years back to my hometown.
Roger Dodger that. So, folks, I just want to let you know why we're talking about Kelly and what she's done, and but everybody's proud of her here at the partnership and what she's accomplished. So let's talk about some other things. I know that one of the big things is we had a plant closed down.
Yes.
How long ago was that?
That was in 2023.
Okay, so it's been a couple years ago, and I know that the partnership, and in particular yourself, jumped right in. Kind of explain what happened and how important this is and why it was important for the partnership to do this.
Well, when we went to the break, we were talking about business retention and expansion.
We were.
Right, and so one of the things that regularly engaging with the business community, and particularly your large employers, does for your economic development agencies, it gives you a line on what might be coming up in the future of that company. And in this particular case, was on a business retention and expansion visit and learned that National Pen was getting ready to lay off 67 employees. And so having that early...
And they had been drawn down for a while.
Yeah, they had. They absolutely had. Yeah. I think they had a layoff in 2020 and went for 3 years and didn't have another layoff, and then did this last mass layoff in 2023. And so being able to have early information on that allowed me to mobilize a rapid response to support those employees.
That's exactly what it was, too.
I mean, and we're talking about employees that had worked for that company for 30-plus years.
I mean, a long time.
Some of them straight out of high school, only job that they had ever had. And so they needed some support. They needed access to the American Job Center so they could start applying for new jobs. They needed access to health care, so we brought in the local Farm Bureau agency to meet with those folks so they could take care of their health care situation. We hosted job fairs and brought in local companies because so many of those people wanted to stay local. They wanted to stay in Bedford County.
I mean, they've been here a long time.
They had.
Right.
We had situations where husbands and wives
both worked there.
Both working.
Think about
there.
the impact on a family.
So the trickle-down effect that happens with a mass layoff, it just doesn't affect the employees. I mean, it affects the spending in your community. It affects the children that are associated with those families. It has an impact that we really don't talk about a lot, but it can be potentially detrimental.
And I'll say this too about especially larger industries that do those large layoffs. There's almost nothing. Those decisions are made at corporate headquarters, which for most of these
sure, yes,
and it's something we don't locally really have a lot of control over.
Yes, that's right.
So when it happens and there was nothing we could really do about it, then
other than to support those employees that are being affected.
Then we move to support the employees because those are local people.
Yes, and I'll tell you that was one of the projects that I am most proud of working on in this community, because we were able to place 90% of those folks that were affected by the layoff.
Number again?
90% of the
Almost
people that were laid off, almost all of them, in a job, and in a job that was at a higher wage than what they were making.
Think about what you just said.
Yes.
That was, I remember when this went down and what a great work you did and the other folks that really helped these people, because that's some heavy impact on some families.
And at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's about the impact that we make in our community, and it's about how we make this a better place to live, work, and play. And again, that will forever be one of the projects that I'm most proud of in my career.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that too, about making a better place to live, work, and play, because you get so many negative people nowadays, and they don't have solutions. But it's people like you and a lot of other folks here that are actually trying to make things better, and we appreciate that. We appreciate that.
There are a ton of people in this community.
Yep.
That are trying to.
They really are.
I mean, they really, really are. If you look around and you think about the impact that Cooper Steel is having, you think about the impact that Bedford County Schools is having, you think about the impact that some of our companies that are expanding in this community are having. I think about some of the efforts that are happening downtown in terms of how we're developing tourism and really trying to make our downtown area explode.
Really good. Yeah.
There is a collective of folks in this community that are actively working. In addition to their day-to-day jobs, they are actively working to make this community thrive.
And better.
And better.
So just ignore the naysayers. Let's press on. And we do have a great group of folks that are doing that.
Absolutely,
They're pressing on and making things better. This is, and if you heard any of my public speeches in the last couple of years, I said, it's our time.
That's right.
It's Bedford County's time. And I was talking to a guy yesterday about this, and he agreed with me. He's involved in commerce in here. He said, this is a great time here in Bedford County. So, and we appreciate everything you've done. What else you want to talk about, Kelly?
So, we moved through the National Pen Project, which again, incredibly meaningful, and we moved into, and during that time, we were also actively recruiting Ducks on Electerra, and I was very fortunate to be a part of the recruitment team from the very rip. I remember when the RFP came down from the state of Tennessee, and was able to walk through that project every step of the way, and still have regular communication with our folks out at Ducks On today. And so if we're thinking long term, right, we're thinking about economic and community development, we have to be thinking long term.
Absolutely. And I know you guys worked really well. I know Governor Lee's people vetted these folks and were really big on doing this project.
Yeah, absolutely.
His economic development people. So and the average wage there, I know they have goals they have to meet.
Yes, that's right.
To keep their incentives.
Oh, absolutely.
And a lot of that has to do with higher wages.
Yes, higher wages and jobs created. And that goes back to some of the conversation we had about business retention and expansion, being able to share with our companies what opportunities are available to them, because there are grants that are available for creating jobs, and there are grants that are available for training your employees through the state of Tennessee. And so all critical to be able to share that information.
You got to have one-stop shopping for that, and that's the partnership.
Yes.
And well, quite frankly, you.
Well, it's a team effort.
It is a team effort.
At the end of the day, everything that we do is collaborative. collaborative.
It is.
We're really good facilitators at the partnership. We don't know it all, but we know who to call. You've heard me say that before, and I think that was actually a line that I heard from you.
That was the motto. That was the motto at County Emergency Management.
But
we don't know it all, but we know who to call.
There's a lot of truth
somebody's
to that.
got to be the facilitator.
Sure, and there's
to bring it all together.
Yes, there's a lot of truth to that, because you can have great ideas over on one side of town. You can have great ideas on the other side of town, but to create synergy, we got to bring everybody together.
You just said the magic word,
yes.
creating synergy. I mean, really bringing it all together and moving it in the right direction,
yes.
right?
Mm-hmm. So after the National Pen Project and after the Ducks On project, I was fortunate to have been promoted to vice president of the Shelbyville-Bedford partnership.
I remember that.
And again, I consider it a privilege to have served this organization and this community over the last decade. And what came with that role was oversight of our day-to-day operations, and that really jumped me into a whole lot of things. And
you didn't get bored, did you?
No, not at all.
Not a single day, right?
Nope, not at all. Not at all. We've always had a lot going on. So providing support to the Chamber of Commerce, which handles all of our small business development efforts and initiatives, providing support to our newly formed tourism division. And that's one of the things that we have been actively working on.
Well, of course, we just have a new hire.
We did, and I'm super excited that Whitney Collier has joined the partnership as the director of tourism, and she is going to do
who has prior experience working at the Chamber of Commerce.
She does. As a matter of fact,
she was there the same time you were.
She was. She absolutely was.
But we're really looking forward, and I know she's already gone out of the chute pretty fast.
She has hit the ground running,
and we appreciate everything Whitney's doing because the tourism potential here. Folks, you've heard us talk many times. You heard Mary Graham talk about it many times. You've heard Kelly talk about it. Tourism dollars are sales tax dollars. People come here, they visit, they spend money, and they leave.
In 2024 alone,
we don't have to educate their kids.
Visitors spent $28.8 million in Bedford County. We're currently ranked number 49 out of 95 counties.
That's fixing to go up.
And from what I'm hearing at a regional level, we are trending up. And for those of our listeners who are not aware, about a year or so ago, Bedford County was identified as the number one county in the southern middle region of the state of Tennessee with the potential for tourism development.
And that's in a lot of different areas. It's not like one organization.
Well,
there's a lot of different attractions here.
I spoke with Leadership Bedford last week at one of their class days, and that was one of the things that it was the Government and Tourism Day. And,
yes.
And that was one of the things that we talked about. And the question I asked of the group was, how many of you think of Bedford County as a tourist destination? And nobody raised their hand.
Crickets, right? Did you get crickets on that? That's because they live here, right?
I did. And so we started to walk through all of the assets that make Bedford County a destination for visitors who are looking to, drive down from Nashville and spend a day. You can go to Nearest Green Distillery. You can take a spin at Music City Cartplex. You can come have lunch downtown at Glass Hollow Table. You can mosey on over to Bell Buckle and shop that historic town square. If you're interested in outdoor activities,
horses.
You can float the river.
Celebration.
You can come to the celebration and oh my gosh, how many events do we have going on at the celebration? 43 events.
Multi-night events.
That is almost a packed out year-long calendar of activities, events, and things for visitors, not just folks within the community. Of course, we want you to participate. If you live in Bedford County, please check out what's going on at Cooper Steel Arena and the celebration grounds.
Those people are staying in our hotels, they're eating in our restaurants, they're shopping in our stores while they're here, and we appreciate them doing that while they're here.
Yes. So, have to start thinking about Bedford County as a destination.
Yeah. Think about what you just said in the downtown square and the revitalization. A lot of private entrepreneurs have put a lot of money in down there, but they seem to be thriving down there.
It's going to be amazing. So one of the things that has been amazing to me over the last 10 years is seeing how the community has evolved, seeing how those of us that have worked in economic and community development have moved the needle. And I remember when the industrial
That's a good way to put it, moving the needle.
Move the needle, that's
in the right direction.
Because progress is still progress, no matter how incremental it might seem. seen. And I remember when Alan Pittner got the site development grant to put the sign up at the industrial park when it was still just a green field.
Right.
And you look at it now, and it's full. And I remember what Bedford County looked like before the distillery and the Cartplex and the work that's happening at the airport to support
When a lot of the storefronts were kind of empty on the square.
When a lot of the storefronts were empty on the square. And Bedford County has absolutely thrived in the last 10 years, and it will continue to do so in the next
It's
10.
our time.
That's right.
It's our time. And Kelly, you were a big part of making that happen. And we appreciate that.
Well, it has been my privilege to serve.
You got a couple of minutes left. Anything else you want to talk about before we go off the air?
Again, just thank you to all of the businesses, all of the members of this community that have offered their support, their encouragement, their willingness to get in the weeds and do the heavy lifting and the groundwork that needed to be done to support economic and community development in this community. And I look forward to seeing how Bedford County continues to thrive 20 minutes down the road in Tullahoma.
Well, I know folks really appreciate what you've done, the impact you've had over the last 10 years, and that's kind of what we were recapping here right now. But I constantly hear from folks once they found out you were leaving for going back home, basically,
Yes.
to Tullahoma. And so on the behalf of the board of directors at the partnership and many of our government officials, and quite frankly, our industry and everybody else in education, I know they all are wishing you luck and appreciate what you've done to make this community a better place to live, work, and play. So thank you for that.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it.
Folks, you've been listening to Kelly North, the vice president of the Shelbyville Bedford / Chamber of Commerce Partnership, however you want to put it, talking about the last 10 years of incremental success and making things better here in Bedford County and in Shelbyville. We have 10 government-related talk shows here every month. So tune in, like we say, hear it straight from the horse's mouth. Don't hear it off somewhere else or some kind of narrative, whatever. Hear it right here from the people who are doing the work to make this place a better place here in Bedford County. Scott Johnson on behalf of Hopkins Farm Broadcasting. Until next time.
United Communications builds connections you can rely on. Whether it's fast internet for your home or your business, our fiber network is designed for your community. No long hold times, no out-of-town providers, just real service from real people. Call 931-740-1800 or visit united.net. Thousands of Tennesseans already trust United. United Communications. Fast, local internet.
When's the last time you've seen the eye doctor? Don't wait. Whether it's little Carter's first pair of glasses or keeping a good eye on your vision health as you age, your eyes are a precious thing. See personalized care for the whole family and friendly faces at Dr. Hasty Family Eye Care on 605 North Main in Shelbyville, across from the U.S. Post Office. Striving to bring you excellence in optometry every single day. Don't put your family's vision off. Make an appointment today at 931-684-2020. Personalized eye care for the whole family at Dr. Hasty Family Eye Care. Visit Kincaid Service Company today to experience the superior comfort of a Serta mattress. Serta has pioneered sleep innovation for more than 90 years, bringing quality products to more than 150 countries worldwide. Serta Comfort is validated by consumers with thousands of 5-star reviews and are designed and assembled in the U.S. at one of Serta's state-of-the-art facilities. Serta's award-winning mattress collections are created by providing superior comfort along with overall support and breathability. Get Serta Comfort by visiting Kincaid Service Company in Shelbyville. Online at kincaidservice.com.
Broadcasting from the gorgeous hills of Middle Tennessee. 98.7 and AM 1580. WLIJ Shelbyville.
From the HP Realty Weather Center, here's Shelbyville weather meteorologist Elijah Kirby.
We're kicking off this Tuesday morning on a very pleasant note across southern Middle Tennessee. Temperatures are starting out in the low to mid-60s under mostly sunny skies, making it another refreshing start to the day. If you're headed out early, it's comfortable, quiet, and calm. This afternoon, we'll continue the stretch of warm and quiet weather. Highs will reach near 86 degrees under mostly sunny skies. Winds will stay light out of the southwest up to 5 miles per hour. It's a kind of day where you might see a few decorative clouds in the afternoon, but rain chances are essentially non-existent. Tonight we'll cool back down to an overnight low near 63 degrees under mostly clear skies. Some light patchy fog could form by daybreak tomorrow, especially in valleys and low-lying areas, but it will quickly burn off after sunrise. Looking ahead to Wednesday, expect more sunshine and afternoon highs near 88 degrees. Winds will remain light and conditions dry. That's your Tuesday morning forecast. I'm Shelbyville weather meteorologist Elijah Kirby.